that says that?
What?
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to season 3 of Drunk Doctor Who. Returning after a long hiatus.
Not season. How? Okay.
Arc 2 of season 2.
We'll just do each Doctor as a season. How's that sound?
Okay.
So we're still on the first Doctor. We're still on season 1.
Arc 2 of
but it's episode 26.
We don't have very many more of them.
No. We don't have. We're almost out of the first Doctor. So episode 26. This is July 22nd of 2019. And the serial name is The Savages. Savages. A couple of interesting points about the serial. It's 4 episodes, running from May 28th, 1966 to June 18th, 1966. Your bands were Stephen and Dodo. All 4 episodes currently do not exist as they were wiped. We are waiting on them to be animated by the BBC. Go BBC, keep animating the missing episodes, missing serials. And we watched the reconstruction. Also, this is the penultimate, the next to last serial of season 3 of Doctor Who. Here's The Savages. There's the reconstruction DVD. Note, it was originally supposed to be called Doctor Who and the White Savages, which they kind of dodged a bullet there because that's now considered racist. So just The Savages it is, thank goodness. Anyway, so we will get to the second Doctor in 3 more serials. We have The War Machines, The Smugglers, and The 10th Planet, which are the last 3 serials of the first Doctor. The War Machines, the next serial, does exist, and it will conclude the 3rd season of Doctor Who. And what are you doing?
Writing in our antagonists.
Okay. The companions, of course, Stephen and Dodo, although, as a note, at the very end of the serial, Stephen's
last episode.
Yeah, episode 4 of this is Stephen's last episode. Oh, also, this is where they stop naming the individual episodes.
The individual titles.
Right, so you just have an episode for the whole serial, and this was The Savages episode 1, The Savages episode 2, Savages episode 3, and Savages episode 4, as opposed to prior when we had different names for each of the different episodes. And this will continue throughout the rest of the original run of Doctor Who. And, for the TV movie, it was a singular one. It didn't have an opportunity to have multiple names, but also there. So for the rest of basically 20th century Doctor Who, and we only switch back to every episode having a name in 21st century Doctor Who, the second revival.
2005, the relaunch.
Right.
Second revival?
Revival, yeah. A relaunch indicates that you've started the show over again. A revival indicates that you are continuing the show but bringing it back. And while there was some question at the very first as to which it would be, it in the 2005 revival, within a couple of seasons, it's definitively shown that it is a continuation of the old show. And that the Doctor is the same Doctor.
Where are we drinking today, Heather?
Alright, I'm drinking Screwdrivers.
Drinking vodka Sprite.
Okay, he's using French
Pinnacle whipped vodka.
Pinnacle whipped vodka. It's
like
a vanilla whipped cream vodka
so
from France.
You put it in some Sprite, it tastes like cream soda?
I'm drinking my Russian standard, thank you very much, a real man's vodka. But it's okay.
Shots fired. I was at the store, and I had Pinnacle and I had Russian Standard in my hand. With the whipped cream tasting fruity vodka.
That's fine. Alright. Anyway,
it's good.
So like I said, this was the Savages. And Peter Purves, i.e. Stephen's last serial. And we're up there at that hole right there on the top shelf.
Did you move? You got a taller bookshelf?
No, it's the same bookshelf.
It looks different. Is it taller?
You just haven't seen it in a month.
It's
been 5 weeks since we did our last podcast due to...
I remember it being so high up there.
Yeah. Same bookshelf.
We're here?
Yeah, we're in that hole right there. Okay, notice that we're almost done with the first Doctor. We're moving to the second Doctor.
Have I gotten shorter?
Maybe. Usually you start shrinking when you're 25. How old are you?
23.
You're close. You're not there yet. All right. Okay.
Is the recorder playing Doctor? That's the second
That's
Doctor?
the second Doctor.
Okay.
That is Troughton. He is my second favorite Doctor.
That's up-ish.
That's a Troughton.
What kind of name is that?
Alright. My main Doctor watching group, we're still on the Key of Time, which is the hole right here. So we are slowly but surely catching up, but it will take some time.
Keyhole?
No, the hole right there. On the fourth Doctor.
Key of Time.
The Key of Time.
Keyhole.
No, the Key of Time.
Alright.
Okay, anyway. The plot to this is actually fairly quite simple. The Doctor is taking Stephen and Dodo to a civilization, advanced civilization. They arrive.
Mm-hmm.
They herald the Doctor with laurels and honors, and say they've been following him as a space-time traveler for quite some time.
I don't know if that's possible.
Well, it doesn't seem to be, except for the Time Lords in this civilization. And they say they've figured out a way to gain extra vitality, to make the strong men stronger, the brave men braver, the smart men smarter, the beautiful women more beautiful, stuff like that. I think that's pretty close to a direct quote. And the Doctor has to figure out what they're doing to do this. In the meantime, Stephen and Dodo are being shown around the city. They've already bumped into some savages outside, hence the savages.
Spears?
Yeah. The white. Yeah, I had to put that in.
Which makes them appear as the antagonists, throwing spears at people.
Well,
You think
yeah,
the
at the
savages are
beginning,
the
yeah.
bad guys, yeah.
But come to find out that the people inside the city are cannibalizing the life force, the essence, the vitality of the savages to give back to themselves and make them better what they are. So they're literally cannibalizing the life force of these people. The Doctor figures it out with the help a bit of Dodo. Because she wanders off into the laboratory where they're doing it. Because apparently they have the worst security system ever.
That door, no one goes through that door.
Yeah.
What if they did?
They don't go through that door. Apparently, if you question the status quo, they'll kill you and use your life force. I'd say it was reminiscent of The Island or of Never Let Me Go. Two movies. In The Island, in both of these movies, they grow clones, and then when they're of a certain age, they harvest the clones for their organs to keep their organs functioning. In The Island, the clones don't know about it. In Never Let Me Go, which is the far superior movie, The Island is okay, but Never Let Me Go is fantastic, despite Keira Knightley being in it.
You don't like Keira Knightley?
She's a one-trick pony. She's okay, but she's pretty much a one-trick pony, which is, I'm Woman, Hear Me Roar. She was decent in the pirate movies, but and she's, to be fair, she's good in Never Let Me Go, but she's just
in Star Wars.
You're not helping the case here. Those movies were bad. But anyway, she works really well in Never Let Me Go, but it's a good movie, and it explores the intricacies of how a society would deal with that kind of setup, and how the people who it's being done to, the clones, would deal with that kind of setup, and exactly how much that they would give up and relegate their lives, their short lives, into such a system. It's just dark, but it's good. It's the only movie where I saw the trailer for the movie, and I couldn't wait to see the movie. I went out and read the book before the movie came out because the trailer was that good.
Wow.
Yeah. See, usually I wait for the movie, but this was so good. I'm like, I've got to get the book, and I read the book, and it was just fantastic. And the movie was really good.
Kind of like The Matrix, how the robots harness people as batteries.
Kind of, but it's not exactly cannibalization because they don't devour them directly, and because they are literally a different species. With this and things like The Island and Never Let Me Go, yeah, it's the same species cannibalizing, kind of like The Time Machine. Did you ever see The Time Machine? H.G. Wells' The Time Machine, where the Morlocks and the people above ground, people below ground are the same species, but they separated, and now the people below ground are cannibalizing, eating the people above ground as food. Kind of that scenario. But anyway, so they are digging into the life force, the essence of these quote unquote savages to make themselves better, and the Doctor figures it out, and they extract his essence after he says, "No, I'm against you," and they extract his essence. But when they transfer it into the leader, Jano, yeah, when they extract it into him, he not only gets some of the Doctor's intellect and wisdom, but also his conscience. So he suddenly realizes what they're doing is wrong. In the meantime, Dodo and Steven have hooked up with the savages, and they end up capturing the guard, and eventually they all wind up back at the city, and they smash the machine that does all the essence extracting and giving to the city dwellers. And they all decide that they have to live together now, the savages and the people in the city, and they want Steven as their leader. Really, the plot is really simple on this one. And they nominate unanimously Steven to become their leader because neither side can accept the other side being leader. And so Steven agrees and decides to stay. And we lose Steven at the end of episode 4. And Dodo and the Doctor go off in the TARDIS.
To the War Machine.
To the War Machines, which is the ultimate, the final serial of season 3. And it'll be serial 27. And it exists. The Savages does not exist. We're waiting on it to be animated, but the War Machines does exist.
So where does that put us in our timeline? We have 3 serials with
the War Machines.
Hartnell left.
Right, the War Machines, which is the end of season 3. The Smugglers, which is the beginning of season 4, which doesn't exist. It's another one of those that we'll watch Reconstruction. And then the 10th Planet. All 4 episodes exist, but the first 3 are real. The 4th one was animated.
Oh, okay.
Because for some reason that one was scrapped, and the others were covered, but that one wasn't.
I like the animated ones.
The animated ones are okay. Yeah.
I've only seen 1 or 2 so far, I think.
Well, when we get to the second Doctor, The Power of the Daleks, the very first serial of his, 6 episodes, all missing, so they were animated. So we have them in animated form. And the Macra Terra has been animated. It'll be out October 8th. It's already out in the UK. It'll be out for us like 6 months after they got it. We'll get it. And supposedly, they're working on the Faceless ones, which is the serial after the Macra Terra. So they're slowly but surely going through and animating all the ones that are missing.
So the Macra Terra may or may not be released by the time we get to it.
It's going to be close. We may end up pausing for 2 weeks or so that we can watch the animated as opposed to Reconstruction.
September, October.
Yes, October 8th. As a note, we haven't had an episode up in 5 weeks.
Long hiatus. The camera is so much closer. Did we move things?
Did
we adjust?
Well, I moved it. I moved the widening. The camera's closer because I moved it back because it was on a zoom, and I moved the zoom back.
Okay.
So the sound should catch better. But now the zoom is back. It still captures the same space.
Okay.
Without using digital zoom.
Makes sense.
But yeah, so this time we had a 5-week hiatus because of a wedding. You getting sick.
I was out of town. I was sick.
Out of town. Us deciding to see our movie for the month.
Because you partied too hard.
Okay, well, we didn't want to drink that night, yeah. So we went and saw Midsommar.
Yeah.
That was good.
Was it though?
Yeah! Dude, it was like the
It's
Wicker
very-
Tree. Not the Wicker Man, the Wicker Tree.
Very dark.
Yeah, it was good.
Just for the sake of being dark, though.
The best
Like,
horror
what was-
happens in broad daylight.
What was the plot?
Not at night.
What was the plot of?
Wait. We do Doctor Who before we do that. Okay, what did you think of this serial?
I liked
Reconstruct
it.
as it was.
I liked it. Yeah, I liked the plot.
Mm-hmm. Very straightforward.
Mhm.
Very straightforward.
Yeah.
Not too convoluted, not
No.
too intricate. Just here it is.
Easy to understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and unfortunately, like I said, we lost Steven.
Mm-hmm.
But at least we get to lose Dodo next episode. She didn't even
very
stick
first
around.
episode.
Yeah, she didn't even stick around for the whole thing. They just kind of
Because-
fluffed her off on the first episode.
They're back in 1966 England, which is where she's from.
Right, contemporary England. Yeah.
So she just goes back home
Yeah, it's like
to the family she doesn't have and all the
Oh yeah, they just fluff her off on
people
somebody.
that don't love her.
Yeah, she's not feeling well. Take her away. Is basically the way it goes.
And when she's back home,
And then we get Ben and Polly.
Ben and Paula,
Ben and Polly.
which are
They're okay. Yeah, they're not particularly great. But in a few serials, when we get to the second Doctor, we get McCrimmon, Jamie McCrimmon.
so we're gonna have 3 companions again.
Yes, for a while we'll have 3 companions. And Jamie is absolutely fantastic. He is one of the best companions.
Scottish.
Yeah,
McCrimmon.
McCrimmon, he's Scottish. And yeah, he shows up in the second Doctor's second serial
Mm-hmm.
and stays with the show for 3 years, all the way to the very last episode of the second Doctor's very last serial.
Ah,
Yeah,
so he's almost with the whole
the whole second Doctor, yeah.
thing of the
And
series.
it was a last minute decision to keep him on as a companion too. Yeah.
Because they decided that they weren't gonna have companions for longer than a year.
Well, that didn't last too long, yeah.
Is McCrimmon the longest companion, or have there been companions that have been on more than
Hey,
3 years?
he's the companion with the most episodes. Right. There are companions who have been on the show longer,
Mm-hmm.
just because of time. But were they in every episode? No. Like the Brigadier.
Mhm.
The Brigadier's there for a long time. And Sarah Jane's there for a long time. But they don't have as many episodes because in the 60s there were so many bloody episodes, 42 a season or something, you know?
Wow.
Yeah. But enough about Jamie. What questions do you have about this series?
Let's see here. Talked about that and that.
Screwdriver. 1 part vodka, 2 parts orange juice.
No, we talked about that too.
Is that your ratio 2?
2 to 1.
Alright, so 1 part vodka, 2 parts Sprite?
Mhm.
Okay. What do you call it?
Vodka Sprite.
This is specifically called a screwdriver.
I don't know if this has a name.
Okay.
I go to the bar and then you just order a vodka Sprite, like a rum and coke.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So it's a vodka and Sprite.
Yeah. I put vodka in the sweet tea too. That's pretty good.
Hmm.
Kind of like a Long Island iced tea, minus the other stuff.
Minus the other 4 alcohols in one. Okay,
Just
dude,
vodka.
dude, so
Like same concept.
so Sonic has this new Carolina Reaper slushy
Yeah.
where they
Why?
put in juice of a Carolina Reaper pepper.
Why would you want that?
It's awesome. It's sweet
Spicy?
and it's spicy at the same time.
Spicy slushy?
Dude, it registers for me, okay? It registers about a 3.5
That's
out of
weird.
10. Okay, and when something registers for
Carolina
me,
Reaper
yeah.
is a 3.5.
Yeah, I wanna get one and put vodka in it. I think it'd be awesome.
It's about a 40 out of my 10.
Yeah, probably. It's really good. All right, sorry. Whoa.
Sonic's getting into some weird stuff. I have always wanted to put alcohol in like a Sonic slushy though. That sounds
Oh, this one sounds awesome.
that's good. Maybe not a spicy slush.
Mmm. Okay.
So, what? Did we ever talk about why the Doctor regenerates? Is it because his life force was drained? Is Is life ever in peril? Is that the reason why he regenerates? Does he just reach the end of a cycle? Is he like immortal? Can you kill the Doctor? Like if you shoot him, does he just regenerate?
Okay. The Doctor regenerates when he would otherwise die. Okay. In 3 serials, the Doctor just seems really, really worn out. Okay. Is it because he took a bunch of his life force here? Great connection. We don't know. But fantastic connection. I was thinking the same thing myself while we were watching it. Okay. I was like, oh yeah, this kind of makes sense. Why he just kind of tires out and falls, and is it a connection directly back to here?
He's already super old in this one.
True. He's about 60 at this juncture.
His life force share.
Right. Like I said, he's about 57, 58. But he looks older because he was in World War II.
But he took some capsules.
Well, that hell, yeah. They give the people capsules, and he takes capsules.
So is he at what 57? You said.
Okay, right around now he's about 57. He was 54 when they cast him, and he's been on the helm for 3.5 years. He's about 57, 58.
That would still make him the oldest Doctor, wouldn't it? Or is he older?
Okay, no, he's younger.
So he is the oldest Doctor.
Capaldi was the same age.
This one?
No, Capaldi's not on that poster.
Oh.
This is the first 11 Doctors. Capaldi's 12, Whittaker's 13. They're not on that poster. Capaldi was the same age when they cast him at 54. He looks younger because he didn't have as hard of a life. But he lasted 3 seasons as well. But there may have been a hiatus. Capaldi, when he leaves the role, may be older than Hartnell when he leaves the role. I'd have to double check that. I would really have to double check that. So I think there was a break in Capaldi's stuff for a year that may have made him go longer in the role explicitly, although with less episodes. 14, 15, 16. Yeah. There was no season in 2016, so there was a year break. So when Capaldi leaves the role, he's probably a year older than when Hartnell left the role. So the oldest in real life age Doctor at the time of him leaving was probably Capaldi, at maybe a year or 2 older than Hartnell.
Okay.
But yeah, that's but Hartnell looks older. Capaldi is much more physically fit and adept, but it's because Hartnell had the combined problems of the Second World War, a ration to Britain, and alcoholism. Not to impugn him.
I know who you're talking about.
Capaldi.
Yeah, I think I've seen pictures of him as the Doctor.
Probably skinny guy,
like
white hair, long face. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, heck, all you have to do is reach down there and grab one of the latest deals. Not the latest, that's Whittaker. Alright. Whoops. Okay, there you go. Alright.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay.
That guy, that's Capaldi.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So how come they mostly cast younger people as the Doctor?
Well, no, I mean, okay, it's older guys for Hartnell, Troughton, Pertwee. Okay, they're all like 50 something or so ish.
So at like the relaunch, they started casting younger people in the roles.
Okay, hold on. Point to Hartnell, yeah, the first Doctor. Then the second Doctor, probably.
Is he on screen? Where does that come up?
It's really close. He probably is. All right, Hartnell. The second Doctor, Troughton. All right, third Doctor, Pertwee.
Who's Pertwee?
Pertwee. The white hair. Yeah, right there. All right, those are the first 3 Doctors, and they're all 45 to 50 something ish. Okay, they're all older. Then you get to more of a middle ground with Tom Baker. Tom Baker, the scarf. The 4th Doctor with the big giant scarf down at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Tom Baker. He's my favorite Doctor. He's the 4th Doctor. He's where we are now in the main group. He's awesome. Okay, he comes in more to like a 30, 35. Okay, he kind of goes middle age. Then they go to Davison, the guy with the celery on his label. Okay, he is fairly young. He's like 29, 30 when they cast him. He's so young that they never allow him to put his arms around the younger companions for fear of it being younger female companions, for fear of it being taken as a romantic gesture, as opposed to the other doctors with whom it's considered a fatherly gesture. But this is starting with Tom Baker. You kind of get the middle age to younger, okay, and then you get Davison, and then you get Colin Baker, who's to the top left. Right. Yeah, with the ascot. He's also young. Then you go to McCoy at the top right. Right. He's back to the middle-agey kind of thing, right? And then you get McGann, who's right below him, the 8th Doctor, still middle-aged.
Does he look like Alan Rickman to you?
Fairly, especially in that style. Yeah, he looks like Alan Rickman in the Harry Potter stuff, or in
it's the face.
Sense and Sensibility. Wait, was it Sense?
Long face.
Yeah. Oh, he's got that very English look. Okay,
is Alan Rickman English?
Yes, Alan Rickman was English. All right, then you get Eccleston. Okay, leather jacket.
Yeah.
9th Doctor.
He's super young.
No, middle age. Okay, dude, look at the hairline. Look at the receding hairline.
Like 30s.
35 to 40. Okay, seriously, he's middle aged. But then you start off getting younger again. Okay, you've got Tennant, that's a skew younger, and then you have Matt Smith right there. He's the youngest to ever be cast as the Doctor. When he was cast as the Doctor, he was 27, which is half the age of.
Was it? Did you say he was like? How old was he?
Well, he was like 30, but Matt Smith was 27, which is exactly half the age of when the first Doctor was cast. He was 54.
So, are we to believe that when the Doctor regenerates, he starts off at like 27 and then he ages to like 50 or?
Okay, we're talking human years.
Does he age?
He does age. Okay, the Doctor ages in his own time, and he ages in appearance in our time.
And then unages.
Well, sometimes when he regenerates, but sometimes he goes older. Like when he goes from Matt Smith to Capaldi, he goes from appearing 30 to appearing 50 something. You know.
So there's no like set norm for.
No, not really. Usually it's younger because they age as they go along. Usually, but not always. Like I said, he goes from 30 to appearing 50 something to Capaldi, and then Whittaker looks about 35, maybe 40. I have a harder time with women telling ages on that, but yeah, I mean, most of the time they go younger just because as the Doctor ages, you have to keep the actor kind of younger, but not always. Not always at all. Second to the 3rd Doctor, the actor got older. 11th to the 12th Doctor, the actor got older. I believe 7th to the 8th Doctor, actor got older, but not always.
So, is the Doctor like killable though? Is he immortal?
Okay.
Are Time Lords immortal?
Okay. The Doctor, in theory, is mortal because eventually he'll run out of regenerations. So if you kill a Doctor, he regenerates.
So even if you like shoot him, it's just
he'll regenerate. In theory, if you hit him under the right circumstances, he will not regenerate.
Hit him under the right circumstances?
If you kill him under the right circumstances, he will not regenerate.
Like what circumstances are those?
That's vague-ish, but okay. Apparently there are in Turn Left. An episode along an alternate timeline, the Doctor dies. And he was killed too quickly for him to be able to regenerate.
So like a gunshot.
He just flat out. Not a gunshot.
Decapitation.
I think he was. I think he was drowning at the same time he was killed, or something like that, so he couldn't regenerate. But it's very vague. They don't give any explicit details. But he's killed, and he doesn't have an opportunity to regenerate. Okay. Mm. Then there's some non-canon stuff that says weird energies can stop from regenerating. Yeah. Then the Master dies. You'll meet him later. Mm-hmm. He's a Time Lord. He dies once and chooses not to regenerate.
It's a choice.
You can choose. Like, in Doctor Who canon, you can choose to regenerate or not. If you don't, you simply die. You can also choose to regenerate voluntarily. If you give up your life and regenerate voluntarily, apparently you get to choose your new face and body.
Oh, so that's not like a death. So you're like.
Well, it is. You're still You're still losing your regeneration, but you have more control over it. Okay. When you do not choose to regenerate, which the Doctor has never done, you don't get to choose your new form. Huh.
So every regeneration of the Doctor we have was voluntary?
No, involuntarily. He died. Usually violently, sometimes because he wore out. The first Doctor kind of wears out. And the War Doctor wears out. He's like,
who's the same as...
The War Doctor's not on there.
But is he Doctor Who, or is that a different Time Lord, the War Doctor?
Same Time Lord, not the Doctor. Okay.
Same Time Lord. It counts as his regenerations.
It counts against his regeneration.
A new persona.
Doesn't count as a Doctor because he's too violent to take up the name the Doctor. He's really violent. He's played by John Hurt, who is so awesome in the role. I love John Hurt from Aliens in 1984.
Cool.
Yeah, he's kind of in Eccleston's jacket, and he regenerates eventually into Eccleston, the Ninth Doctor. He's amazing. He counts against the regeneration numbers, but not as a Doctor. So he's simply referred to as the War Doctor.
Do we know how many regenerations Time Lords get?
You find that out later. They get 12 regenerations.
Oh well, he's like on 13.
Okay, hold on. A Time Lord gets 12 regenerations for 13 lives. But a Time Lord.
This is his last one.
No, hold on. A Time Lord can be given extra regenerations by the Time Lord Council. They can be given a whole new set of regenerations. Okay.
So that's like the current plot?
Okay, so we go through the 12 regenerations from the first Doctor to the 11th Doctor. Okay. -1 regeneration for the War Doctor.
So that's not like canon, that doesn't count against his regenerations?
It does. It is canon, it does count. Okay. So the War Doctor takes out a regeneration.
Okay.
And the Meta-Crisis Doctor takes out a regeneration.
Oh, so we're like on 14.
Well, hold on. So the 11th Doctor would have been the final Doctor. He's out of regenerations.
So that's the one where he goes to the Time Council.
No, he doesn't go to the Time Council. One of his companions, who apparently is the most amazing goddess in the universe, Clara, who is... No, God, she's not. Trust me. Anyway, hey Claire. Probably she's a super Mary Sue. It's like, hi, I can do anything, and everyone loves me. And the Doctor will change his plans around my dating schedule, and I will be a fracture, and I will save him in every incarnation he's ever been in. Trust me. We'll get there. You'll hate her, or at least I hate her. Yeah, I can't determine what you're gonna do, but anyway. So she calls out to the Time Lords to save him because apparently he can't do it himself, but she can do it, and the Time Lords give him an entire new set of regenerations based on her calling. So the 12th Doctor, Capaldi, is the very first of the new set of regenerations.
Okay.
Whittaker, the 13th Doctor, is the second one, which would have made more sense if Whittaker had happened at the first of the new set of regenerations to explore the whole female thing. Mm-hmm. But they didn't do that. For some reason, they went with another male and then a female. You know.
Do you think they're going to go with like 12 more females?
Okay. It would be 11 more.
11 more.
Wait, no, it would be 10 more because they 12 regenerations, but he used one to get there. I don't know. I don't think so. Logically, thus far within Doctor Who canon, they've only ever, it's only relatively recently they've said that they could change genders. And in
like the Doctor before the most current one.
Well, yeah,
They
no.
explained it like the
Tennant. Tennant was the first mention in canon that the Doctor could change. He mentions the Corsair once changing into a woman, and boy was she crazy, or boy was she a party, right? You know, because it was a guy that changed a woman. They mention there's a couple other cases where the Time Lords changed gender, all relatively recently. Under Capaldi, the 12th Doctor, you see the General change gender. The General had been this male character. He changes into a woman, and she specifically states that that was the only time that she was ever male. Okay? And we only have the one instance of the Corsair being male. And the Master changed into Missy, a female, but we haven't seen her again since then. So, canonly, the Doctor could change after Whittaker back into a male and go, wow, that was a weird experience. That is the only time I will ever be female, because Time Lords can only ever change into the other gender once. Then we revert back to our normal gender. It gives us a sense of perspective, but that's it. And that could easily be canon, and we don't have to deal with Doctor Who being a female ever again, okay? But I don't know that's what they're going to do or not. The BBC seems incredibly big on diversity and the pushing of anyone who's not a white male. They might continue with it just to say, hey, Whittaker wasn't that bad, even though she is. Or they might get in a new showrunner with some common sense, and he might do exactly what I said. I don't know. I don't know. How do we get down this rabbit hole?
we're talking about regenerations.
Okay.
So there's like no special clauses on being granted a new set of regenerations. Just
No.
asking nicely.
Okay. Okay. Clara asked nicely, but to be fair, there is some substance to them giving the regenerations to the Doctor, because he's the one who saves them in the Time War. Also, they had previously given an extra set of regenerations to the Master, and apparently to a bunch of other people during the Time War. That's supposition, but a logical supposition. Okay? That's the only way the Time Lords could have survived during the Time War, was to give a lot of regeneration to their people to survive being in incessant Dalek onslaught. But this is all 40 years from where we are.
Cool.
Okay, anyway, he's kind of mortal, he's kind of immortal. You know, hopefully he's immortal, because then the show will never end. But he's kind of a bit of both. He can theoretically die. It's shown where he's died in alternate timelines, but as of yet, he has remained immortal.
Cool.
Okay. What's your next question?
So the Savages, when they go back to the cave, and they have like paintings on the cave walls, and you're like, you know, those are ancestors. They're very talented. Not so much anymore, because they not only drained our life force, they also drained our
talents, intelligence, and wisdom.
Which reminded me of what's that Looney Tunes basketball movie?
Oh, the one with Michael Jordan?
Yes. You remember that one?
Alright, Looney Tunes Back in Action? No, that was the one with the guy from The Mummy, Brendan Fraser.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
He didn't age well. Have you seen Brendan Fraser lately?
He's a wonderful, wholesome actor, and he's been in some great movies. But yeah, he kind of pigeonholed himself. Space Jam, that's it. Yeah, I like Brendan Fraser. He was in the Mummy movies, and he was in The Scout, highly underrated movie, The Scout.
You know they're making a Space Jam 2?
No. Why are they?
Wait,
why do you have your phone? That's supposed to be turned off for
this. For research.
Turn that thing off.
Space Jam. It's on Space Jam. You have these monsters that steal talent from all these really talented basketball players.
Yeah, and they can't play.
And they're great at shooting, and then afterwards they can't. He has the water bottle, and he came and hit his mouth, and he shoots.
Okay, good reference relating to this movie. Yes. But put that phone.
So that means that Jano, when he absorbed half the Doctor's life force, he also absorbed his, his intellect and his
wisdom and conscience.
Also his talents. So is that a scary thought? He can do like Doctor things now. Is that impactful?
Well, probably within his knowledge set, which will limit him. But we
also
don't.
The Doctor's knowledge set.
We don't know.
Like,
they never go back to
never
this
go
planet.
back to visit
Never
Steve.
go back to this planet.
So here you have this.
I don't even think they ever mentioned the name of the planet.
I'm always sad when they said it. Will we see them again ever? What's to come? This person's, and then they never go back.
Okay,
They should go back.
Okay, going back to stuff like that is questionable because sometimes you want to bring the classic stuff back, like the Macro Terror, which is coming out, right?
That's a revisit.
Okay, hold on. The Macro Terror is the current serial that we're waiting on to be released.
Because they're always
animated.
going back to the Daleks. So
certain ones they always go back to. Okay, the Evergreens, the Daleks, and the Cybermen, and the Sontarans. Well, these days the Weeping Angels.
So, do you think the Cybermen were precursed by the Robomen? You remember the Robomen? They were Dalek slaves?
They kind of, they were precursed by the Robomen in the Daleks' invasion of Earth. And you can kind of see that same style. But they show up on the very last serial of the first Doctor. The very last one.
Cybermen do? Or
Cybermen. Oh. Yeah, the very first Cybermen. But the Macra Terror, coming up on the second Doctor, we actually see the Macra again during the 10th Doctor. And the Zygons, which we will see later on during the 4th Doctor, come back again during the 10th Doctor also.
Well, let's let Zygons be Zygons.
Yeah. So, there's... Slap. So, there is callbacks to the old stuff, which is great. I love the callbacks. I love seeing the Brigadier return in Sarah Jane Adventures, stuff like that. But at the same time, you don't want the show to be too much of that, so that somebody can watch it now and understand it without all the callbacks, having to know what happened before,
But what about the monk? What happens to the monk? We never go back to the monk.
Nope. We saw him in the Time Meddler. We saw him in the Daleks' Master Plan.
And he's abandoned forever.
And that's it. No more monk.
Wasn't he stranded in Antarctica?
Yeah, something like that. No more monk. No more celestial toy maker. We never see these people again.
He was a super great villain.
He was pretty good, but we need those episodes animated. Yeah, 3 that are missing. Yeah.
Speaking of the celestial toy maker, was he a Time Lord? He was something. He was a celestial being.
Okay.
Who's somehow integral to the balance of the where did he get all his power?
Okay. The closest thing he is to is a guardian.
But he can.
We'll get to the Guardians much later.
We visited. Is that like the Guardian from the Daleks' Master Plan?
Not Mavic Chin, the Guardian of the Galaxy. There's a white Guardian and a black Guardian who are light and shadow, right? Yin and Yang, who keep the universe in order.
Okay.
And.
So the toy maker's like a whimsical.
He seems like that. They never relate him directly to anything else in the show, but the closest he is would be to a Guardian, possibly a Maverick Time Lord, but he seems to have more power than a Time Lord.
He creates
which would put him at the Guardian level.
He creates his own planet, but he's also trapped on the planet he creates.
Okay. Yeah. In Doctor Who, there is a wide range of entities, and some of them are trapped in their own universes or sub-universes or bubble universes. One of them is a frog.
A frog?
Yeah. Okay, in Whittaker's first season, Series 11, there is apparently an
celestial frog.
Yeah, it's bad. Whittaker's whole season is fairly bad, except for I liked Kablam.
Do you think they did drugs when they were doing that?
I don't know. I don't think they're legal yet in the UK, but
that's never stopped.
It never stopped me before. But no, there's an alternate universe, a side universe parallel to ours, and the universe itself was rejected by ours, and our universe wouldn't play with that universe. So that universe kind of wants to be with ours, but it won't let it. And in the end of the episode, it's represented by a talking frog. It's really weird.
Is that the alternate universe that the Doctor dies in, or are there multiple parallel universes?
The Doctor is not
that
dying
just
that
one of them?
Okay.
That's just one of the...
There's multiple parallel universes. There's bubble universes. There's alternate timelines. And...
So just like every space concept.
Yeah, there's e-space and there's hyperspace and
E-space.
everything possible under the sci-fi sun is eventually incorporated within Doctor Who. It's just there's too many episodes and too much canon for it not to be.
Kind of like government.
Eventually, yeah.
Oh, so at the end of the Celestial Toymaker, you see the Doctor. The way he gets away, but also destroys the planet. He like calls out
the last numbers from within the TARDIS, right?
But it only responds to the Celestial Toymaker's voice. So the Doctor said it like while
in his voice, yeah.
So the Doctor is like a ventriloquist. Does that ever come up again, or is that just Cardinal? What?
Ooh.
Does he do impressions?
Impressionist.
One of his skill sets. Or?
That's an interesting question. Hold on. The second Doctor does a lot of impersonation.
Oh.
Not only of other characters, but of the Salamander, who is the same actor, different character. Just like remember
when the Daleks made the robot Doctor Who.
Well, yeah. Or remember when he was a duplicate? He was an exact twin of the Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve.
Oh yeah.
Where he had the twin and that bad guy. Same thing with the second Doctor. He is a twin of the Salamander. And he portrays and impersonates a salamander.
They just happen to look like each other.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Just like that was a big trope in the 60s and into the 70s.
Prince and the Pauper. When I first read that book, I thought they're like separated twins because that's the only thing that made sense to me. And then I found out, no, they just look exactly like each other. And even as a child, I'm like, that doesn't make sense though.
It happens.
They're not related. It doesn't happen.
It can happen. I mean, but there are. I don't think after the second Doctor that there are any instances of them portraying or being duplicates of other people within the show as twins. So, excepting when a minor character is taken up by the same actor who plays the Doctor later on. Like Colin Baker did that and Capaldi did that. They were in the show previously and then they later on played the Doctor, even though they look like someone who was previously a minor character. Because it's the same actor, yeah.
So does the Doctor like pick up and lose skill sets and talents when he regenerates, along with his personality? It's
the same individual with the same knowledge, the same wisdom, the same usually the same intelligence, but they have different features. Okay. So like looking at a diamond from a different side, you'll see a different facet, and that facet may shine the light on different parts of the diamond with new abilities and new flaws, and usually new quirks, like the second Doctor's recorder or his liking of impersonating people.
Or asparagus. Celery?
Yeah, the celery, that's the fifth Doctor into the sixth Doctor, yeah.
So theoretically, all regenerations of the Doctors could be able to be an impressionist ventriloquist.
Well, in theory, yes, but their own abilities and talents are dependent upon that interpretation of the Doctor.
Okay.
That facet of the Doctor.
You were talking about the hallways and how they shot the end of the episode 3 and the beginning of episode 4 to conserve smoke.
Oh yeah. Okay. Usually
expensive. Is that?
Usually they shoot every episode at this point before they had a lot of video editing. Mm-hmm. They shoot them all every Friday. They would practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, And then Friday would actually shoot the episode, and they would edit it. However, in this particular case, at the end of episode 3, they've got the smoke in the hallway. And rather than set up the hallway again and redo all the dry ice for the smoke and all that.
Is that what they use?
Yeah, they use dry ice.
Is that what people still use when they're doing the smoke and the fog on the stages? Or
I don't know.
Because I think my brother
No,
had
I think
a
there's some kind of
fog
smoke
machine.
you have.
Like liquid smoke that like vaporizes.
Yeah, it's new stuff, but I think it came into play in the 80s. I don't think it was in play in the 60s or 70s.
60s, 70s, just use dry ice.
Yeah, it might have been late 70s for the discos, but I don't know. I mean, I remember that.
Speaking of which, I think it was Red Bull that did this big promotional advertisement thing, and I think it was like a giveaway, like a prize you could win was they hosted this big party and they had all these influencers and they set up this
Influencers?
yes, like cultural icons, like all like singers and rappers and I don't know, famous people.
Okay.
They invited all these people to this big party.
Like Ed McMahon.
And they had this big pool, and they're like, what would be cool is if we had like a fog effect over the pool. So what they did was they put dry ice in the pool, which caused the fog.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not supposed to breathe that in because that's at the bottom of your lungs. So people, like a few people jumped in the pool and then started to suffocate because they couldn't breathe the fog from the dry ice. So then like more people jumped in to try to save them, but then they started suffocating and it like hospitalized several people. It's like a massacre. It's terrible.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
It was,
Good ideas gone wrong.
yeah.
Okay.
But it looked cool.
It looked cool.
Except people couldn't breathe.
Yeah, but no, the whole thing was the special effect was too expensive to replicate the next week, so they shot the beginning scenes of episode 4 at the same time they shot the last scenes of episode 3.
Dry ice is expensive.
Yeah, well, especially England in the 60s when they were still on rations.
I don't
And they
even
were
know
on
how
rations in the
that's made.
70s.
Is that like to do with liquid nitrogen or?
I couldn't tell you.
I
I couldn't tell you. I mean, I've bought dry ice. I've used dry ice. I don't know how it's made.
What did you use it for? A party?
Yeah, Halloween stuff, you know. Or to play.
Where would you go to buy dry ice? Where does that come from?
You can get it at United.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, Market Street. You can go there right now. Buy dry ice.
They just have it in the back.
They've got it in a cooler near the front.
Oh, like where you buy your ice and you can buy dry ice?
Yeah.
Huh. I've never seen it.
It's there. Anybody can buy it.
That's cool.
I don't know if there's an age limit on it. I have no idea.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Is it? Can you get like frostbite from dry ice? Is it real cold?
One of the things if you touch dry ice,
Because
it'll
it, like,
stick to
it's-
your fingers.
It's,
If you touch dry ice directly, it'll stick to your
it
fingers.
will stick to your fingers.
Yeah, it can take off skin.
Uh,
But you can use it to show lasers. Like most lasers, you don't see a beam
yeah.
because they're not powerful enough. Unless you've got like dry ice smoke in there, and then you'll see the beam. Like when you're playing Kemet.
Or you're watching Mission Impossible and you see the lasers.
Exactly.
What's Kemet? And you're playing what?
Kemet's a board game.
Oh, it has
Um,
lasers?
Yeah, it's got little lasers and mirrors, and you move pieces around, and
I
you
know
push
what
the
you're talking
button,
about,
and then
you
it
try
bounces off and it hits things, and then you
Mhm.
move that thing from the board.
Okay.
Well, you don't normally see the laser.
It's like laser chess.
Kind of, yeah. Unless you've got dry ice, and with dry ice, you can actually see the lasers.
Oh, I feel like it'd be a lot more fun if you could see the laser.
Right, and that's why I played it with dry ice.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a rather obscure board game, but it's a lot of fun.
They couldn't just use like a laser pointer to.
Well, that's the thing. Usually with the laser pointer, you don't see the beam, you just see the point.
Oh.
In this case, you see the
okay.
beam.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Okay. What's your next
Anyway.
question? Anyway. Kemet's fun.
Okay, so Jano, he absorbs the life force of the Doctor,
Right.
which gives him his intellect and his morals, his conscience.
Conscience,
So
as well
so
as
then
wisdom, yeah.
he realizes what their entire culture, what they're doing to the savages
Is wrong.
is wrong. But like, how does the Doctor know how Genos reacted?
Well, he figures this is what I would do. So a guy with my conscience, this is what he would do. So he accurately predicts what Jaina would do from that point onward.
So he just like understands the technology they're using and how the life force machine works. He knows that he's going to absorb my intellect.
Right, as well as everything else.
Just because he's like way smarter than those other people.
Basically.
I feel like he walked in, he's like, oh, I know how this works.
Well, yeah, the doctor has knowledge and wisdom and understanding, and those things enable him to predict what people will do, especially those without all of that knowledge and wisdom and understanding. It's like a 100-year-old man, and there's a bunch of 20-year-olds, but the 100-year-old guy is going to know what they're going to do, because he has knowledge and wisdom and understanding.
So would you put post-absorbed Jano on par with the doctor? Do you think they're like equals intellectually?
Oh, no. You can absorb some of his stuff, but you don't have all of it. You don't have all that
like
experience.
50%.
I don't know what percentage. And there's no way to know. But it definitely elevated Jano. And it definitely took the doctor down a peg or two, which may be why he regenerated in 3 more serials. It's kind of hard to specifically establish that link.
Okay. So the doctor's been to this planet before, and he's visited this civilization. So how do they
They've
know
been following him around.
So he's never been there before.
It's not established that he's been there before. It's left vague.
So how do they just pinpoint? How do they just why are they following him around?
Because apparently he has renown, and they are fascinated with him.
So how does the doctor? Do they also have renown? How does the doctor know where he is?
Apparently they do, because that's why the doctor believes in their civilization, understands their civilization to be greatly advanced and paradisical.
So the doctor, he doesn't know where he is very often when he travels.
In this case, he actually does.
That's the place he's like, I know where I am.
Well, later on, he fixes the TARDIS, and he knows where he's going.
And then he hits the shuffle button anyway.
Further later on, he has a shuffle button. And then later on, beyond that, all that's gone. Yeah. So there are periods where he doesn't know. There are periods where he knows. It's just different.
Cool.
But eventually he fixes everything, and then eventually puts it on random to avoid being detected, and then eventually goes back to normal.
Does he ever fix the chameleon circuit? Does it ever disguise itself?
Yes, but it's not good. So he goes back to the TARDIS. He goes back to the police box.
Like aesthetically, it's not good, or it's like it doesn't work well. He just doesn't like the look of it.
Yeah. I mean, he shows up. It's a grand piano or something. It's like no, okay. Yeah, I can't remember when and where, but there's one point in which he actually fixes it, and it's just not terrific. And there's a chameleon circuit that the Doctor uses on himself at one point.
Oh, that's cool.
To hide the fact he's a Time Lord, to make it look like he's human with only one heart. But then he claims he's half human anyway, and then that's ignored forever later on. It's a mess.
He's half human?
It's the 8th Doctor's TV movie. It's a mess. Technically, but everyone ignores it.
So, like...
The same way they ignore the earlier visages.
Human dad married, like, a female Time Lord and made baby Doctor Who.
Don't bloody know. Yeah. It's all ignored. But the Doctor lies, so that could easily have been a lie. The Doctor said that? That's canon. The Doctor being half human? Probably not canon. Alright,
does it ever mention the name of the planet or the civilization?
Which one?
The one that they're on now.
I don't believe they do in the whole serial.
I didn't pick it up, but this civilization is super advanced technologically, and they build these crazy machines, like being able to follow Doctor Who, the Doctor, throughout his space-time travels, and they also build this life-absorbing machine. And then the big, coup de grace, the end of the episode, the conclusion is they go in to this one laboratory for this whole planet civilization, and they smash the one machine. They couldn't just build a new machine? Why does that topple their whole...
Well, okay, they shouldn't build a new machine. I mean, this is... Now they're working together. I mean, they destroyed it. So they have negative impetus to continue that.
So the destroying the machine was more of a representation of their...
Well, / catalyst
Okay.
towards making the new civilization where the savages and the people of the city all work together, you know?
So there's like elder rebels and like this violent act of like terrorism against their society's norm. Everyone goes along with it. They're just okay, yeah.
Well, they're following the leader.
Okay.
Jano.
So Jano's the head elder. He's not. Like,
Yeah, he's the
equal
leader.
with the
He is
others.
the leader.
Oh, okay.
Well, think of prime minister. The prime minister. They're all ministers, but he's the first amongst equals.
Okay.
And that's what Jano is, the first amongst equals.
Well, good. I like happy endings.
Okay. And it's a fairly happy ending, you know. I'm sad Steven's gone, but at least we get rid of Dodo soon.
And Steven has a happy ending. He's like
Relatively, yeah.
king of these
Leader.
person.
No. Do you have any more questions?
I think we covered it.
Yeah, like I said, it was a pretty straightforward serial.
I liked it.
Okay, we should be back next week.
With the smugglers?
Hopefully.
Machines.
No, the War Machines, the end of the 3rd season, the War Machines, where we pick up 2 new companions, Ben and Polly, and we lose Dodo, thank the Lord. Then we have 2 more serials after that. One, The Smugglers, which is a reconstruction. The 10th Planet, which mostly exists. The 4th episode is animated, so at least it exists in some form. And then we have the 2nd Doctor. It'll be interesting. We were talking about earlier the animations, and they've animated Power of the Daleks completely. They're doing the Macra Terror, which is Power of the Daleks is serial 30. The Macra Terror is serial 34. And supposedly they're working on the Faceless ones, which is serial 35, which has 2 episodes existing and 4 missing. And then hopefully they'll continue with the Evil of Daleks, the Highlanders. I mean, complete the rest of the 2nd Doctor, and then go back and complete the rest of the 1st Doctor, because they're bringing out everything on these Blu-rays for seasons, and they've got to complete the seasons in order to bring them out. Which is why I think they're working on the 1st season of the 2nd Doctor, so they can slowly but surely bring out everything on the Blu-rays.
So they have like 4 or 5 serials animated so far. Because they did the was it a BBC animation for the French Revolution, or was it?
Yeah, the Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve.
Did they use a different animation studio every time?
They've used a few different animation studios.
Did they ever use the same one?
They have used the same one, and but the whole point is to eventually get everything animated that is currently missing thanks to their junking policy. And the big one will be Dalek's Master Plan, but hopefully they continue to do everything. Oh, it wasn't the Massacre. The Massacre is still missing. It was the French Revolution one. Reign of Terror. Some of them exist, some of them are animated, but they've at least gotten through the whole thing. Yeah. Alright. Anyway, hope you join us next week. We'll do the War Machines. We will lose Dodo. Yay! Pick up Ben and Polly. And finish off season 3 of Doctor Who. And we've been at this, like a year and something?
Probably.
Yeah. We're almost done with the first Doctor.
How old was I when we started?
Huh?
Was I still 21? Was I 22?
How old are you now?
I'm 23 now.
When was your birthday?
August.
Wait. Your birthday is next month. You were probably 22, yeah.
Cool.
You're about to turn 24. Alright, happy birthday. Mine's in September. I'm 50. What are you talking about so old at 23, 24? Alright, anyway, see you next week, guys.
See you next
Thanks.
week.
Bye.
Don't forget to share.
Share, subscribe, whatever. We don't have any viewers.
Coming to a Twitch stream near you.
Oh, yeah, maybe soon. But we switch it over to... We'll do YouTube and Twitch. We'll do both, hopefully.
Start off as like Twitch VODs and then maybe live streaming once we figure it out.
Hopefully. We're working on it. Alright, bye.